I've got a clip of Ollie going, "Oh God, what happens? What happens before it starts?" So I'm sure he's got all the details.
Right, what piece of crap has Laurie got for me?
Oh dear, I've forgotten a lot of it already.
Would you believe it? Okay, right.
Oh, bollocks.
Hello and welcome to Calling Spots, a narrative telephone game, episode number 2. This is the second episode in our series of narrative telephone inspired wrestling awesomeness. It was almost a sentence. This series idea came from the fine people at Critical Role, so please go and check out their version of narrative telephone because it is genuinely one of my favourite series on YouTube. So for those unaware how this game works, here's how it goes down. One of the members of the WrestleTalk team has created a story set in the WWE universe. They've then recounted that story to camera and sent it to another member of the team. They get to watch that story precisely one time before they have to recount their own version of the story, putting in as much detail as they can. They send their version to another member of the team who records their version after watching the other person's version once, and they send it to the next person and the next person until everyone has been. Then we all hop in call together, we watch the first, we watch the last, we see how much the story has become completely derailed. And then inevitably we all point fingers and say who was to blame for the story getting ruined. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. This time, it's my turn. The year is 2057 and WWE are gearing up to broadcast episode 7342 of WWE Raw. Vince McMahon, still alive of course, was overseeing the creative process from his office, while eating his way through this newfangled food that the kids were eating, which he was reliably informed were called enchiladas. He was laughing to himself as people rushed past his office door, thinking back to that time in 2020 when people thought that things couldn't get more hectic and stressful backstage at WWE. He'd most certainly shown them, changing Raw from a weekly show to twice daily. Vince glanced at his Progressive watch, sponsored by Progressive, and saw that the show was due to air in 12 minutes for their one remaining fan. A voice echoed suddenly around his office through his new alert system. It was Kevin Dunn, also still alive and employed, who was informing Vince of a new script for the show. "We really think you'll like this new idea, boss," said Dunn over the speaker. Vince swallowed his bite of enchilada and grunted to show he was listening. "How about this, sir? Current 24/7 champion R-Truth defends the belt against Kalisto in an hour-long Iron Man match." R-Truth and Kalisto. Vince leaned back in his chair and thought about the time that pairing had stolen the show at WWE Profit Margin, please give us your money in 2041. What a great pay-per-view that was. R-Truth had done that thing with his teeth that he always did that made Vince laugh, and then Kalisto spoke that funny language that wasn't English, whatever that was. Or how about the time that the two were a tag team and won the Smoothie King Tag Team Championships in 2038 at WWE Storytelling, there's no such thing as long term. What else had happened at that show, Vince thought? The Undertaker had been brought back for one last match against his longtime rival, Callum Newman. Mark Calloway had finally retired, until the next time they needed him, of course. And who could forget the Great Khali returning and winning the Sonic Chicken WWE Championship with a 630 senton? Vince was interrupted from his nostalgia by Kevin Dunn clearing his throat over the speaker again. Mr. McMahon, sir, what did you think? Vince contemplated it for a few more seconds before finally responding, "Yeah, that's some good shit. Sponsored by Tout."
The year was 2057. Fuck you, Pete. And it was episode 7332 of Monday Night Raw. And Vince was still alive, of course he was, sitting in his office, thinking about all of the years of wrestling that he had overseen. He was really still going. He was eating an enchilada, which he, because of the meat wraps thing, finger on the pulse, Kevin Dunn arrived. Kevin Dunn was still alive and still employed. There was 12 minutes to go before the show, and he was like, boss, how about we do this? How about we have R-Truth and Kalisto in a 60-minute Iron Man match in front of the one fan that we've got? And Vince thought back to something. He thought back to WWE pay-per-view stalling for time, where R-Truth won the Smoothie King Championship from the Great Khali, and that time that Kalisto spoke another language, doing some really good. That was at WWE pay-per-view. Really good lucha things. And how does the show end? How does the story end? It's harder. It's harder than it looks. So he was just like, Mark Calloway. Mark Calloway came out of retirement for one last match against Callum Newman. Good old WrestleTalk Callum Newman. So that happened as well. And Vince looked back on the whole wrestling and said, "That's some good shit." Oh, bollocks.
The year is 2057, and it's the episode 3332 of Monday Night Raw. And backstage, Vince McMahon is sitting there enjoying an enchilada, and he's thinking about the state of wrestling and what WWE has become when Kevin Dunn runs into the office and says, "Vince, I've got a fantastic idea for you. We're going to put R-Truth versus Kalisto in a 60-minute Iron Man match." And of course, R-Truth had won the championship, the Smoothie King Championship, all of those years ago at the pay-per-view Stalling for Time. And that was against the Great Khali, an epic match that everyone remembers in a really good Lucha Things stipulation. That's how R-Truth became the champion there. And then Vince McMahon thinks about those things, and he looks out at the arena where Raw is being held in 2057, episode 3332. If I keep focusing on those details, maybe everyone will overlook the fact that I've forgotten the finish. Because there's one fan in the audience. And Vince says, "That's good S-word." Would you believe it? That's the end of my 2 minutes. Fantastic. I think I nailed that one. Bollocks.
So the year is 2057, and it's the 3332nd edition of Raw. Vince McMahon is in his office, and Kevin Dunn comes in and says he wants to put R-Truth and Kalisto together into... Oh, sorry, Vince McMahon's eating a burrito currently, and then Kevin Dunn comes in and says, "Hey, man, I want to put R-Truth versus Kalisto in a 60-minute Iron Man match on TV," because as you know, a while ago, R-Truth became the Smoothie King champion in a match against the Great Khali in a Lucha Things stipulation match, a Lucha House Party match, let's say. A Lucha House Party match against the Great Khali. R-Truth became the Smoothie King champion. Everything is going on in the arena. The match begins to start, and Vince is watching on. This is where Ollie messed it up, because there's no more story. Vince is watching, and there's only one fan in the audience, and Vince says, "That's some really good S-word." Really good S-word. And then he rides a hoverboard around the ring to whip up that one member of the audience. And as this is happening, more and more people start to file into the arena and watch Vince on the hoverboard. He does a kickflip. He does a grind on the apron as he goes along. And then he lands the hoverboard in the center of the ring, perfectly onto R-Truth and Kalisto's heads, knocking them down. and pinning them under the hoverboard. And from there, the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and Vince McMahon becomes the new Smoothie King champion on the 3,332nd edition of Raw in 2057. Can you believe it? That is going to be very weird when we get to the end of this.
'Twas Christmas Day on 2057, the year 2057. It is the 3,332nd episode of Raw, hailing from the Smoothie King Center in Smoothie King Land. And there is a match between Kalisto and R-Truth. It is a 60-minute Iron Man match, because, you know, those are the best ones. And it's for the Smoothie King Championship, because, of course, as you know, R-Truth is the Smoothie King champion. Unfortunately, there is only one fan in attendance, and apparently at some point around here, Ollie messes it up. That's what Laurie tells me. But in order to stir up the crowd, because there's only one person there, out comes Vince McMahon, as you know, the chairman of the WWE. Can you tell I'm filling for time? Vince McMahon realizes that while what's going on in the ring is obviously great S-word, it isn't actually bringing an audience. So what he needs to do is he needs to jump on a hoverboard and go round the ring, around and round and round, to sort of stir up the one man in attendance, or woman, human in attendance. So he does that, and then lots of people start filing in, because obviously Vince McMahon knows what the fans want. And he goes so high up in the air, and then he falls right on top of R-Truth and Kalisto in the middle of the ring. They're dead or pinned. The referee runs in. 1, 2, 3. Vince McMahon is your new Smoothie King champion. Of course, this is the perfect way to celebrate Christmas on the 3,332nd episode of Raw in the year 2057. Can you believe it?
'Twas Christmas Day in the year of our Lord 2057. Can you believe we've made it this far into the future and Raw is still on the air? Not only that, but it's actually the 3,332nd episode of Monday Night Raw, emanating from the Smoothie King Center in Smoothie King Land. I'm presuming America. And because it's Monday Night Raw, there is a match happening in the ring. A match between R-Truth and Kalisto for the Smoothie King Championship. Clearly, WWE's latest idea to bring in the fans. But unfortunately, it appears not to have worked, because there is only one fan in the arena. That could be man or woman. It's unspecified. For all we know, it's a robot or robot. So yet there is only one fan in the building, and Vince McMahon kind of surveys this scene from the gorilla position. He's still in charge, of course, here in 2057 on the 3,332nd episode of Monday Night Raw from the Smoothie King Center. And he surveys this situation. He goes out and he looks at this one person in the crowd and he's like, I've got it. I know what the good shit is. And so he jumps onto a hoverboard, and the hoverboard goes round the ring like Marty McFly in Back to the Future Part 2. He's going round the ring and round the ring, and can you believe it? This actually starts to bring in the crowd. Crowds start to fill in the Smoothie King Center on this Christmas Day in the year 2057, if I remember that correctly, to see Vince McMahon go round and round the ring on a hoverboard, and then he starts to lose control a little bit and he flies upwards, and then it gives out and he falls and he plummets towards the ring, landing on top of R-Truth and Kalisto, not Sin Cara, having a 5-star classic. He falls onto those and possibly kills both of them. Again, unclear. But the key to this is he pins one of them, and the referee, Mike Chioda, I think, jumps down, he's been re-employed, and counts 1, 2, 3. Your new Smoothie King champion in 2057 on Christmas Day on the 3,332nd edition of Monday Night Raw from the Smoothie King Center in Smoothie King Land, America, is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Can you believe it?
Hello and welcome to the watch-along part of Calling Spots episode 2. It's my story this time, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I am excited.
Oh, no.
I'm very excited for this.
Can you believe it?
I know that this goes off track.
I was going to say,
Oh, I know.
to give you a direct quote from the video that I received, this is a bit that Ollie forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of padding in my bit where I just stall, where my brain breaks. But not in the way Luke stalled last time, where he just started making up bits. And just didn't say anything.
That was a
Ollie
direct.
Ollie just waited out 30 seconds.
That was a direct quote from the one that I got from Laurie, Luke. So you can.
Ooh,
Amazing.
the tension's
Right
killing me.
I
see where it
know.
ends
Shall
up.
we see where it started then, hey?
The year is 2057, and WWE are gearing up to broadcast episode 7,342 of WWE Raw. Vince
That didn't
McMahon,
even make it to
still
me.
alive of course, was overseeing the creative process from his office, while eating his way through this newfangled food that the kids were eating, which he was reliably informed were called enchiladas.
Got
He
it.
was laughing to himself as people rushed past his office door, thinking back to that time in 2020 when people thought that things couldn't get more hectic and stressful backstage at WWE. He'd most certainly shown them, changing Raw from a weekly show to twice daily.
Oh,
Vince
no.
consulted his Progressive watch,
No,
sponsored
no.
by Progressive, and saw that the show was due to air in 12 minutes for their one remaining fan. A voice echoed suddenly around his office through his new alert system. It was Kevin Dunn, also still alive and employed, who was informing Vince of a new script for the show. We really think you'll like this new
Easy.
idea, boss,
All day
said
long.
Dunn over the speaker. Vince swallowed his bite of enchilada and grunted to show he was listening. How about this, sir? Current 24/7 champion R-Truth defends the belt against Kalisto in an hour-long Iron Man match.
Money,
R-Truth
money.
and Kalisto. Vince leaned back in his chair and thought about the time that
Any of
that
this.
pairing had stolen the show at WWE Profit Margin, please give us your money in 2041.
Didn't
What
get
a
that.
review that
Good
was.
joke, Pete.
R-Truth
Didn't get
had
it.
done that thing with his teeth that he always did that made Vince laugh, and then Kalisto spoke that funny language that wasn't English, whatever that was. Or how about the time that the two were a tag team and won the Smoothie
Bless you.
King Tag Team Championships in 2038 at WWE Storytelling, there's no such thing as long term.
Sort
What
of.
else had happened at that show, Vince thought? The Undertaker had been brought back for one last match against his longtime rival, Callum Newman. Mark
Oh, that was the bit I forgot.
Oh!
That was the bit
That
you
was the
forgot.
bit you forgot.
That?
Fuck off.
I didn't get any of this from Laurie, so presumably he didn't get any of it either.
Vince was
I felt so bad, I thought I'd kind of
Kevin Dunn
completely
clearing
screwed
his
it.
throat over the speaker again. Mr. McMahon, sir, what did you think? Vince contemplated it for a few more seconds before finally responding. Yeah, that's some good shit. Sponsored by Tout.
I fucked up your punchline.
Oh.
Sorry, Pete. Straight off the bat.
Okay. Oh my. Oh my.
See how
Can
it
I
ends.
just say,
no.
once again, I think I did quite a good job of recalling Laurie's. And if I did, that means that someone has royally fucked up.
Andy, I do just want to point out that last time you said you did a good job. Last
I
time
did do a good
you
job.
got rid of the
You didn't.
punchline.
No, I
Can
created a
you
new
believe
punchline.
it?
Can you
Can
believe
you believe it?
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, that
I can't
was
wait.
fun.
I can't wait for this.
Did you guys pick up on that bit with the Sonic Chicken WWE Championship with Great Khali coming back? Did you guys hear that bit? Or
Does it,
No,
did-
I think
no,
so.
no one
Talking
heard
about
it,
that
Pete.
bit.
I can,
No,
I can
no.
guarantee.
Twas Christmas Day
No.
2057. Can you believe we've made it this far into the future and Raw is still on the air? Not only that, but it's actually the 3,332nd episode of
Close.
Monday Night Raw, emanating from the Smoothie King Center,
Oh.
Smoothie King Land. I'm presuming America. And because it's Monday Night Raw, there is a match happening in the ring. A match between R-Truth and Kalisto for the Smoothie King Championship. Clearly, WWE's latest idea to bring in the fans. But unfortunately,
He's
it appears
stolen.
not to have worked because there is
Storytelling.
only one fan in the arena. That could be man or woman. It's unspecified. For all we know, it's a robot or robot.
It's a robot. You're
There's
making
only
up a
one
new
fan
booking.
in the building, and Vince McMahon kind of surveys this scene from the gorilla position. He's still in charge, of course, here in 2057 on the 3,332nd episode.
You've really committed to that
Monday
episode
Night Raw
number.
From the Smoothie King
Gotta
Center.
stick to the details,
And
you know.
He surveys this situation. He goes out and he looks at this one person in the crowd and he's like, I've got it. I know what the good shit is. And so he jumps onto a hoverboard.
What?
Hoverboard goes round the ring, like
Huh?
flying back to the future.
That's what I was told.
He's going round the ring and round the ring. And can you believe it?
It's a total fucking
Actually starts
invention.
to bring in the crowd. Crowds start to fill in.
This is literally what I was told. This is literally what I was told.
This is what I was told.
There's not even DNA of that in the original.
Correctly. To see Vince McMahon go round and round the ring.
You've
on a
created a
hoverboard,
if you
and
build
then
it, they
he
will
starts
come
to
story.
Lose control a little bit.
This
and he
field of
flies upwards.
McDreams.
He flies upwards, and then it gives out.
You gave so little story,
Falls,
Ollie. I
and
ad-libbed.
he comes towards the ring.
Oh no.
Landing on top of R-Truth and Kalisto, not Sin Cara, having a 5-star classic. He falls onto those and possibly kills both of them. Again, unclear. But the key to this is he pins one of them. And the referee, Mike Chioda, I think, jumps down, he's been reemployed, and counts
stuff.
1, 2,
He says.
Mike
Your
Chioda doesn't
new
work for WWE
Smoothie
now.
King
I literally said he got
champion
re-employed.
in
Oh.
2057 on Christmas Day.
Why is it Christmas?
Is this
It was till Christmas.
Is this intentional sabotage?
No, Ollie literally gave me so few details that I would rip through his story in a minute. I had a minute and a half to fill.
I only think I forgot
you
Undertaker.
Oh my god.
The only thing I forgot, I think, from Andy's version was that it was a 60-minute Iron Man match.
The Smoothie King Center's not the biggest problem.
No. That
The other
was
thing-
ridiculous.
Okay, the other thing as well, because you said, like, Ollie said, you're just making stuff up now when I said that it might have been a robot. Because Andy, when he said it was a fan in the arena, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I was like, I mean, it might have been a robot. It's the future.
Just reading between the lines.
Yeah, I was trying to
read
be
between the
PC.
lines.
I didn't want to say what it was. But you know,
fan.
Ollie's story went blah blah blah. Kevin Dunn. There's an enchilada. He looks out to the ring. There's only one fan in attendance. Good shit. And then he stalls for a minute.
I made up.
Say anything.
Okay, fine.
So
I
when I retold the story, I got to good shit within a minute, and then I was like,
And then you ad-libbed.
what do I do now?
I remember looking at my clock and I had 20 seconds left. That's when my brain broke.
Yeah, but it had broken multiple times on the way there.
Don't blame your misremembering stuff on me misremembering stuff.
No, I think you'll find I remembered you perfectly, and then I added.
I might have added.
Story.
I might have added
This is
Mike
so
Chioda.
I definitely added Mike Chioda. I may have added Chris. I may have added Christmas.
Unforgivable.
I
added
added a
Christmas.
hoverboard. Okay.
Got the hoverboard.
Oh man, that was ridiculous. My story was just Vince sitting there going, "What should we do for this show?" And then Kevin Dunn tells him, and he goes, "Hell yeah, I like R-Truth and Kalisto." And that's the story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I feel so much better for my retelling. Jesus. I feel like Oscar
God.
Wilde. What a rack on turk compared to you chuckle fucks. Just throwing in Back to the Future references because you've run out of time.
So we can all agree that Laurie was the one who really derailed
I mean,
telling that.
we'll wait and see for the full watch along for that one. But yeah. Anyway,
I feel so bad for Callum. Like he's
Yeah.
from the story like a bad habit.
he had a
And
long
the
time.
Undertaker.
Yeah. Undertaker's had his shine. Callum Newman, though, long-time rival of the Undertaker by 2057, obviously.
What was the
Anyway.
order? What was the order?
It went me, Adam, Ollie, Laurie, Andy, Luke.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's
somewhere
right.
in the middle, it gets a little ill-defined.
I will say the one thing I think
I will happily admit to adding a whole end, to bolting on an end to a story that was given to me where it just petered. It petered out.
No,
It was Peter's story.
Yeah.
See, I think
Yeah,
I
that's
forgot
coming.
the two things I think I forgot were the enchilada and the Great Khali. But apart from that, I think I'm pretty much on the money.
Well, we'll see. Anyway,
Jesus.
I think we're done here.
So that was Calling Spots, a narrative telephone game. Thank you very much for watching episode number 2. If you want to see the rest of our reactions to this, you can head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/WrestleTalk, pledge at any dollar amount at all, and you can watch the full extended cut of us reacting to everybody's stories, not just the first and the last. Stay tuned for more. There's going to be episode 3 coming up soon as well. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and enable notifications on partsFUNknown too. And please do let us know if you really enjoyed this and share it with your friends, because we really want this series to do well, because we think it's really, really funny. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Press the videos that are on screen now as well. This was Calling Spots, a narrative telephone game. Can you believe it?